You've got to set me up for my redundant jokes, okay?
Does he?
Yeah, fair enough.
Does he really? Does he really? Like, is that a requirement, man? Like, I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to talk about his game.
Dude, they're trying to turn me into Clint Capella, bro. Like, what's going on here?
Oh, God, that took Jaxler out.
Even though nobody asked, we delivered. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. My name is Nestani.
I'm Jaxler.
My name is DECosmic.
And I'm Coley.
And today, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary people, guess what? Cosmic's going to talk to you for like 15 minutes.
15 minutes? Jesus Christmas.
Christ.
All right, let me start the stopwatch here.
He's the only one who has played Resident Evil, ladies and gentlemen. Like what are we going to do about it?
True.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
What, you want me to talk about
Resident Evil 9.
Guys, I'm
RE9.
gonna speedrun Resident Evil. I'm just gonna, surely me with no experience could keep up with the arms race that's about to happen in that game. So I think that would be good for me.
Yeah.
Bro, don't even get me started on that shit. I was like, so in the last weekend, I've played through this game like 3 times, right?
Damn.
It's a lot of fun, I gotta say.
Yeah, no, I've heard great things about it. But
it's really, really fucking fun. And then I found out that first person is faster with both characters, and I'm like, fuck that, honestly. That shit sucks. If I wanted to play a Resident Evil in first person, I would be playing Village or RE7. So I'm like, no. Like, I am all about like RE4 through 6. So when they were like, oh yeah, the dev intended way is to play Leon in third person, I'm like, sick. But Grace's sections, she's the other protagonist. Her sections are intended to be in first person. So it's very interesting. Like, they basically wanted to appeal to both like the RE7 and 8 crowd, as well as like the
Cast the
widest
net possible.
yes.
Yeah, well, the thing is, right, is that I believe in interviews they said that they were really trying to make like a pretty scary game with just like Leon involved. But because Leon at this point is like 50, he's actually like 49 or something.
Damn, he's old.
In this, and he's trained so long and he's been a government agent for so long, like
It's not as scary.
nothing is going to scare this guy anymore. Yeah, so they decided to bring in a new character to actually have the like horror parts of the game nailed down. So like there's been some memes where like the Grace parts are like, The Shining, where it's Jack Nicholson coming through the door with the hatchet. And then the woman's like, oh God, with the knife in her hand. And then it cuts to, this is the Leon gameplay. And it's like the Kingsman scene or like a John Wick scene.
That's
and he's just like gunning down everybody.
That's good.
And like, it's pretty accurate too. Like, but I will say that like there's a lot to talk about with this game, because it really, even though it does cast a really wide net in terms of what it, like the fans of Resident Evil that it wants to appeal to, especially because like Resident Evil's identity over the years has evolved so much. So it's like some people will try and tell you like, oh, RE4 isn't really an RE game. It's an action game.
It has Resident Evil in the title. What are you talking about?
It has I think probably my least favorite phrase of the modern era, outside of like 6-7, is when people say
6-7.
Oh, this is a good game, but
when
not
they
a
Jester
good
Max?
series that it's a part of game. Or when they spike their cortisol. Yeah, that whole thing or
he's
whatever.
doing the crane game.
But it's always weird to me that like people just think that series have to stay in like
this is
one
6-7.
identity.
This is 4-5.
Okay, that's fair.
This is me banging out
4-5. And so
and with the 4-5 corporate.
And what's also weird is that like
gonna
Resident
jump
Evil
off a bridge,
4
guys. We gotta stop.
Usually it's Cosmic that hits these bits. But
I'm just
Cole's
letting
gonna
Cosmic
find
talk.
grandma, dude. Watch out. She's about
I'm
to
just
blow up.
letting. I'm.
Speaking of RPGs, Resident Evil 9. So
Hey.
Yeah,
there is literally, so spoilers here. Okay, there's literally like a motorcycle chase sequence where one of the bosses that you end up fighting is riding on this motorcycle in front of you and just pulls out an RPG and just starts like pointing it at you. And
Nice.
it's like,
That's fun.
And like honestly, I love this shit. Like that is like to me, Resident Evil has always like had these roots of like B tier action movie type DNA. So when it eventually just cranks the stakes to the point where like, oh yeah, there's no other way we can do this other than like just straight up action movie type shit.
Yeah.
That's the shit that I really like, you know, because the first Resident Evil that I actually bought was RE5. The first one that I played through to completion was RE5. And so like that to me is what Resident Evil looks like. And so I'm a big RE4 to RE6 apologist, but despite like them wanting to not only capture fans like me and also fans of, you know, like RE7, RE8, as well as I guess some of the classic games, I will say that like when you switch between the two protagonists, they're not like trying to meet in the middle in each of those sections. It's like, okay, you are playing as this character, so this is the style of game you are playing now. So like when you play as Grace, it's like, okay, you're gonna have to go around and explore. You're gonna have to manage these resources and make a bunch of decisions.
Survival horror,
yeah, exactly. In order to like get through this section or find out how to do these puzzles, how much you end up exploring is up to you really in the end. But then when you get to the Leon sections, they're like, no, you're playing an action game now. You are going to shoot things. You are going to be a badass. You're going to parry shit. You're going to pick up enemies' chainsaws and slice them with it.
Yeah.
You know, like all this other really, really cool stuff. And they're very uncompromising in their vision for each character. And that's something that I really appreciate in terms of like replaying the game, is that it's like, all right, you can really just like settle into the groove of each section very well. Even though during the first playthrough, for some people, it's probably gonna be like, whoa, like I am literally just playing a different game for a little bit.
Say the line.
What line?
He didn't say Whiplash. This fucking sucks. I'm gonna be like Whiplash. Anyway.
I can't work with this guy anymore.
This is terrible. I just wanted to
It's
reference Whiplash, but he didn't give it to me. Like, this is crazy. I can't make the same joke that I made 82 times on this podcast an 83rd time. Like, what are we doing? You gotta set me up for my redundant jokes, okay?
Does he?
Yeah, fair enough.
Does he really? Does he really? Like, is that a requirement, man? Like, I don't know. Maybe he's just trying to talk about his game.
You know?
Dude, they're trying to turn me into Clint Capella, bro. Like, what's going on here?
Oh god, that took Jaxler out.
I'm trying to get my fucking lobster.
I can't believe DECosmic is the DeAndre Ayton of speedrunning, bro. That is insane.
I don't even get that, but that sounds bad.
Yeah.
Imagine a guy who's on the Lakers and bad. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Anyway,
So
I'm trying to be Clint Capella,
really rough.
and he should throw me some lobs so I can dunk him. Anyway.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Cole?
Have you? I assume you've
fuck, that's
beaten the game at this point, Cosmic.
Yeah, I beat it like 3
He
times.
said he played it 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember. Wait, so
It's
how many?
okay.
So
It's-
how many hours is like one playthrough?
About 57.
That'd be
About
funny.
about 4 or 5.
That was the main thing I
About
was
6 or
thinking.
7. Yeah.
4 or 5.
About 6 or 7, you know. But
I
the
see.
first time through, it
Have you
probably
ever
took
considered
me
that this
about.
is just like this is what they used to do when you're like, I'm juggling balls. You know what I mean? So why
Yeah,
is
this
this?
is
Or
ball
it's just like,
fondling.
like this is just people going like, okay, you know, like this is just a common thing. Like,
Yeah,
this is
but
just
now
really
it's juggling
like part of the
balls,
whole
and now it's
thing.
6-7.
Now where
And we
I
used
have-
to do like.
Is there anything else
Well,
that's
juggling
like
balls
that
is more
where
of a
it's become-
circle motion, right?
No, that's just juggling.
Yeah, that's
As
what I meant.
someone-
I'm
Yeah.
talking about testicles.
As someone- Okay,
Testicular
so-
portion.
What I will tell you, Nestani, as the only person in this call that has ever handled testicles in their life other than my own, that I have never
I was
done.
wondering
Had
where
me
that
for a
was going.
second.
I was just like,
It was like, wait a second.
Other than my own, like I've never done that. Never had the desire to do this. Like no.
I think you got to
Anyway,
lock in,
but
man.
so-
honestly, and you need to. You should try it
Yeah,
out next
that's
time.
my bad, honestly.
Yeah, you should try to have
No.
some fun down
Not happening, bro.
Look, this might just. I think you just gotta leave the balls alone. I don't know. Like,
I don't
as
know.
an
Maybe, like,
asexual, like I'm just
They're,
like.
they're gonna.
I've
They're gonna
gotten
be
kicked
like,
in the
what do you-
nards too many times to be like, yeah, I'll be cool with someone touching.
I
my
can just
nutsack. Nope,
imagine
I'm
how
good.
this conversation goes. Like, what are you doing down there? Okay, hold on. On my podcast episode one time.
I don't know. The whole time
it
that
up.
Nestani, I just imagine Nestani has like a portal gun, and like one portal's just down there and one is up here, and he's just going like this to himself or something.
What the fuck?
You know what I'm talking about? Like, that's the only way that would even work, is if you have a portal gun. It's not like you can just, you know what I mean?
Not on yourself. We're talking about not on yourself. I'm talking about gay sex.
Oh.
Like,
yeah, we're talking about gay sex.
Clearly, this man's never fallen in a ball
how do you
sack,
feel about
it
gay
really
sex?
shows.
Go ahead.
I've never tried it.
Why not? Are you homophobic?
I just have never had sex.
Yeah,
so, which isn't a secret. That's actually pretty well known information.
Yeah,
I've never had an opportunity.
Hey, everyone in the comment section, if you want to give Cole an opportunity, just go ahead and comment down below.
Make sure your comment reads "Love that chicken from Popeyes," and then he'll know that it's you.
That's right. That's right.
Comment down below if you want to have gay sex with Coley_02.
Clear thing.
While eating Popeyes.
Oh, at the same time.
No, the Popeyes.
We gotta separate that. Come on.
Yeah, you gotta.
Yeah, the Popeyes is the first date. Yeah, that's the first date.
I just don't think you want to.
That's fair.
Jesus. Okay, and then we'll wait an hour.
But anyway,
yeah. Or eat after.
Gay sex interlude aside, let's go back to Requiem.
Yeah, I like how I asked you about the game, and then Nestani's like balls. Like, it's like, what the hell is happening here?
Hey, he did the 4-5 motion first, and then that reminded me of the 6-7 motion. And then I was like, isn't this just like you're making fun of someone for like juggling their balls?
Dude,
you know what I mean?
I don't know.
So that's what my brain.
I don't think 6-7 means anything. Like, I think
it doesn't. Yeah, that's what
really,
everything. Like, it's like the skibbity toilet. Like, it doesn't mean anything. You know, skibbity
toilet.
Isn't
Skibbity Toilet like an actual like video series or something?
Yeah, yes, but it doesn't mean anything. Like the meaning of it.
It's just funny because people agreed that it's funny essentially.
Oh.
Yeah.
But so in terms of my first playthrough for Requiem, it probably took about like 14 hours or so. I was extremely high for the back half of the game, so that did take me a little bit longer than usual.
Do you feel like that enhanced the game experience, or?
In some regards, yes, because I walked into a certain section where it was, because, I mean, they said this in the trailers, but like you go back to Raccoon City in this game. So like you go back to the place of the events of Resident Evil 2, and I guess 3 in part. And there's a section in particular that revisits some of the old areas and using assets from like the 2 remake stuff. And, you know, I'm walking through this area and I'm like, fuck, you know, or whatever. But this is also, prior to this, right? Like my spatial knowledge was entirely shot. Okay. It is actually a miracle that I made it through how dark some of these environments are in one of the sections, because like you just have your flashlight and they want you to like go through like 4 different buildings in order to actually like complete this objective. And I died so many times to all of these enemies while playing this game because I was just absolutely blitzed. But it was a great time. I had a wonderful evening, honestly.
That's
I bet you
good.
did.
I did. And I mean, by the time that I finished the game, it had worn off, so I could really take in the ending and everything, which I'm not going to spoil, but...
I'm going to spoil that, though. I already forgot the name of the other character. I can't even do it.
Grace.
Grace
there's
dies.
Grace, and then there's...
Dumbledore.
No.
With Dumbledore, they both die. Grace and Leon have a romantic subplot randomly thrown in somewhere in the game.
Wait, Grace dies? Damn.
No, Grace doesn't die.
I was gonna say, like, if Grace dies,
gets
that's
blown
kind of
up by
on
an
you,
RPG
man. Like,
that Leon shoots.
Yeah.
Oh God,
he was aiming it at his grandma because he did not get the all bosses run that he wanted. And then,
but it took me like 14 hours for that, and then the next time around, it took me like maybe 8 or so.
Okay.
And then yesterday, actually. This is just me like trying to judge the difference between in-game time and real time, because the in-game time actually when you die, as far as I can tell, or at least when you hit reset, it will go back in time to what your in-game time was before. Yeah, that kind of sucks.
Thumbs down.
So
Thumbs down.
But It does help with the speedrun achievement, let me tell you, because I beat it in like 3 hours IGT, but it was probably more like 4 hours RTA. And when I tell you I ran past everything. And
that's exactly what the speedrun is going to be, just running past everything.
Pretty much, yeah. There's just a lot of... and this is why... This is also part of why, like, Resident Evil speedruns kind of miss with me, because, like, there are some legitimately interesting combat mechanics in quite a few of these games. And then you spend about 75% of the run not doing any of them. Yeah. And so I'm like, well, okay, time to boot up Vanquish again. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that they give Leon in this game. There's even a lot of cool stuff in terms of like managing resources and how the resources can actually manifest with Grace. Like she gets a blood collector because she's an analyst with the FBI. Okay. So naturally she knows how to like read this sort of stuff. And not only can she use it to, yeah, she can read. She's got glasses and everything. Damn. Not only can you use this to like craft what is this game's version of like the first aid spray or like different ammo, she can also use it to craft an item called the hemolytic injector, which is basically a one-shot kill on most enemies, not all of them. But it costs a decent amount of blood to do this, so you really need to and it's also a defensive item. So like if an enemy grabs you, if you don't use a defensive item, you take the full damage of the bite. You can't shake out. Leon can shake out. Because he's Grace, yeah, exactly. But but if she uses like the hemolytic injector, you can just like stab him with it. Or if you have like a makeshift knife or something on you, she can do that. But if she uses the hemolytic injector, she can just like kill them. The other thing too is that they actually brought back the Crimson Head mechanic from RE1 Remake, where if you go through an area a certain amount of times where an enemy is dead, it will get back up and it'll be like hyper aggressive now. And in order to make sure that an enemy does not do this,
you have to blow their head off. Yeah.
You have to either blow their head off or use a hemolytic injector on them. What is it? You can do this to bodies that are downed as well. So you can walk by them and actually inject them. So there's a lot of decisions that you can make, like when you're first playing through the game and in the different areas that she goes through. Like, okay, I'm going to collect all this blood, but what am I actually going to do with it?
Yeah.
So it really leaves a lot of the power in your hands to decide how you're going to do all this. And it's a ton of fun. I did a lot on my first playthrough, and that's pretty much why it took so long, is because I was just like constantly like walking around like, where is more blood? Like, no, I gotta find more blood and figure out what's going on here.
Bro, this game turned you into a fucking vampire. Like, goddamn. Like,
yeah, essentially, right?
Bro's walking down the street. Hopefully he doesn't run into a crypt. Like, jeez.
True. Well, actually, it would be the crypts that are looking for the bloods, right? So I would be a crypt. Rough.
Audio listeners, you can't hear it because I just muted Jaxler right there, so you'll never hear what he said.
Awesome.
Ouch.
Live
censorship. So here's my question, Cosmic, is with the swapping between two characters.
Now, huh?
Thanks, I appreciate it. So like see, the funniest part about this bit is Nestani is going to be lazy and he's just not going to
I'm definitely not going to do any of that shit.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's pretty good, yeah.
It's what happens when you do things with friends. You know their behaviors. Anyway, so the thing I wanted to ask is like, because it's like you have the two characters thing, right? And I know
inside of you.
Right. And with like RE1 and RE2, you had like the two characters' different campaigns and like different woven in stories. Like, why, like, can you get a sense of like why they maybe didn't just do that with this game? Like, oh, you have, you know, the Leon scenario and the Grace scenario, rather than it be like, oh, you're doing a Grace section, then you swap to Leon after a certain point of progression.
I think it's just because the stories don't happen parallel to each other. They happen like very interwoven. Like these characters actually see each other and talk to each other quite a bit.
Okay.
Like the point that Leon actually enters the story is because he hears about like a disturbance that happens somewhere, or like he hears about a disturbance that happens and he happens to be like driving by in his Porsche and then sees
Flex, okay.
Literally like
is it actually a Porsche?
it's actually a Porsche, and then he pulls up his wrist to show something, and he's got like this really designer watch that they had like an entire collab with.
What the fuck?
Like
they're trying to milk this shit.
That's what government agency work will do for you, you know, or whatever.
Until the government shuts down,
but like
you don't get paid.
as early as a couple hours into the game. As early as a couple hours into the game, Leon actually talks to Grace and says like, "Hey, what's going on? What are you doing here? Blah blah blah." You know, like he sees her earlier than that because she gets kidnapped pretty early in the story.
Of course she does. She's, you know, the woman always has to get kidnapped. That's part of the rules of.
Well, she's just an analyst.
All right, Jaxler said the sexist thing, not us. So I just want everyone.
No,
to know.
I'm just saying it's the rules of misogyny that if you're a misogynistic game developer, your femme character has to get kidnapped.
I mean, it's the same. It was the same thing with Ethan and Ari's.
No.
No. Yeah.
He's
I mean, if anything, he's
and all like he's like.
Are you saying that femboys can't be 50 years old?
Well, I mean, at this point, he's kind of suffered twink death anyway.
Point.
Oh, they've upgraded to men instead of boy.
Yeah.
Feminine.
He's feminine. If anything, he's suffered twink death at this point. So like, it is what it is. But like, I mean, this is the thing. With the new protagonists that they're bringing into Resident Evil is that they're ordinary people. Like Ethan, when he was brought into RE7, he's just an ordinary dude. So Jack and his family kidnap Ethan. Grace, at the beginning of her game, when she is investigating something, she also gets kidnapped. So that's just kind of like, it seems like that's what they're trying to establish is that like there are these ordinary people that these things are happening to. And then there are like the longtime protagonists who are intervening essentially.
The goats,
although in RE7 it doesn't happen until the very end when Chris shows up. But then in RE8 he shows up much earlier, and he actually shows up a little bit more in the backdrop. How Ethan was so combat capable by Village, I don't know, but you know, it is what it is. Ethan, or like Leon, they gave like a hatchet, so he has like melee combos and parries and shit now. And he's like fucking awesome, dude. I had a blast playing that character. Just like there was a point where I played a couple of his sections, and then like I got to another Grace section, and I was like, I know this part's gonna be gas, but I wanted to play more Leon like right now. You know, please. And then like you get through another Grace section, it's like, all right, now I can play more Leon and we're good. I would have probably tapped in for an entire playthrough of just Leon though, honestly. Just because I really love that style of Resident Evil a lot. But no, pretty much to answer your question directly, Jaxler, is because similar to, tongue-tied. That was lame. It is because the characters are just more closely like interwoven into the stories. Like justifiably in Village, they could have actually just had Chris work the same way in that game as Leon does in this game. They probably just decided to be a little bit more ambitious with actually having a dual character campaign this time around. And it works, honestly. It's really good. I don't know where I would rank it in terms of the series because, I mean, when you play
probably
a game
between
for the
1 and
time,
9.
Maybe between 4 and 5.
There's more like 26 games in the Resident Evil series. And like, my favorite is Resident Evil 5. But I think
because it's the first one you played, so.
Yeah, but I think that the best games, in terms of what they are and what they hope to accomplish, I think the two best games in the series are 1 Remake and 4 OG. I mean, the fact that like 4 OG has like shaped so many games, you know, that came after it, as well as like 1 Remake being an incredible example of like the thing that I actually like in remakes when a director and like a creative team actually get to revisit their work with better technology, expand on it, and actually get to do like a more complete version of their vision, right? Yeah. So because that's what happened with 1R essentially, as opposed to like a lot of remakes now that are like a different team working on that same thing. But this is also why I'm on board with the Max Payne remakes, for example, is because it's Remedy and Sam Lake getting to try at Max Payne 20 years later. But yeah, no, game's awesome.
And sorry guys, it was actually like 20 minutes, maybe 25 instead of 15. So I did kind of lie to you.
Yeah.
But if you cut out a lot of the filler and us like riffing about gay sex in 6-7, then maybe it goes down
about
to
4 or 5 as well. You gotta keep 4 or 5.
Yeah.
There was a lot. There was a pretty substantial gay sex interlude. So
it's like, true.
It was like 2 minutes. Like, come on.
That was
you know.
You guys can blame me.
Well, hopefully, if you down in the comments are having gay sex, it lasts longer than 2 minutes.
Well,
so best of luck to you.
Good luck, everyone. With that, I actually had a question for Mr. Delaware here because he said
about gay sex.
About gay sex. Yeah, let's get into it. No, you basically said that like you like Resident Evil 5 the most because it was like the first game you played in the franchise. And so you also said that like you said something about like it defining the whole franchise, and I think that's like I feel like that is a
Resident
common
Evil 4
thing.
really defined a lot of stuff moving forward.
That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is that I like the whole concept of like whatever the first game you play in whatever franchise, like Mario, Sonic, and the Olympic Games.
Oh, that's how you see that series.
It's how you see that franchise as a whole, like through that lens. Why? Mm-hmm. Like, why is it the first game that you play? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and is that incorrect? Maybe.
Well, you go in with no expectations, and then it was the first of the expectation. And also, when something is like that, like new experiences tend to stick in your brain a lot more.
Yeah, but like my question is like, if you've played like the entire franchise per se, like. I'm going to use Sonic, for example, because everyone just thinks Sonic is Sonic Adventure 2, right? They think that's Sonic. But if you look at every single Sonic game in the franchise, none of them are similar to that game.
Don't even get me started about the Sonic
there's
franchise.
There's no Chow Garden. There's no nothing. So like, is that franchise that, you know, like, is that really how you define the franchise? You know what I mean? Or are there two different things? Like, this is how you define the franchise, and this is how you personally define it because you played this game first, and so now this is your viewpoint forever, and you'll never change it? Like, I don't know.
Well, basically, my viewpoint is that, like, this is the Resident Evil that I came in with, and it, like, stuck with me because I really just enjoyed the style of game that it was. And if I had come in at, like, 1, 2, or 3, right, I'm not sure that, like, I'm sure my position would have shifted mostly into the 4, 5, and 6 range because that is just more of the style of game that I enjoy. And so like, it's for me personally, like this is what I would want to see out of Resident Evil more, right? Like I even said, you know, I really enjoyed RE7 and RE8. I think that they're like really great games. And I'm never going to say like, oh, this isn't Resident Evil, you know, or whatever. It's just like, it's a good game, but not a good. Shut up. Anyway, but it's like if somebody was to ask me what kind of Resident Evil game I would want to see, it would be something that taps into the DNA from 4 through 6, or even like kind of what's been established in Resident Evil 4 remake as well.
I think it might be better too to like define it as maybe not the first thing that you played in that series, but maybe like the first couple or like the first set of experiences. Cause it's like, you know, for example, it's like Ocarina of Time was the first Zelda game that I ever played.
I'm sorry.
But it's not my favorite Zelda game.
That you played Zelda.
No, this game's great.
I didn't like it.
That's okay.
Cool.
Sorry. But no, that is a good
sorry,
point.
Go on with your point, Jaxler.
No, I was just gonna say, but it's not my favorite Zelda game. And it's like there have been like games in a series that I didn't like grow up with that I like really mess with a lot more than some of the ones I did. Like for example, some of the, like the older Pokemon games, I didn't really grow up with them. I started with like Gen 3, but I still really like Pokemon Crystal. All you need. Yeah, which is very true. Although like Platinum is based, Heart Gold Soul Silver is based, but it's just like
yeah. I feel like Pokemon. I feel like it depends. I feel like it depends on the series and how this is applicable.
Yeah,
for
that's
some
true
reason.
because Pokemon made this literally the same game 45 times, but Sonic has kind of made different games.
So maybe
and Zelda has also
it
made
does.
different
It does
games.
really depend on like how I guess cohesive a series identity is, right? Because like Resident Evil has between all of like the 26 games that it has had, its identity has shifted a lot, and they've tried a lot of things over the series. Yeah, between spin-offs and like the light gun games and mainline titles.
But there's only
like 20.
9 mainline. Okay.
Yeah, there's only 9 mainline. Yeah, correct.
Some of the spin-off games are like classic style. So like Code Veronica is like a normal Resident Evil game that doesn't have a number on it. There's a couple of those.
But then like Dead Aim is more akin to like an RE4 type of deal. Dead Aim also has the great honor of being called Biohazard Gun Survivor 4 Heroes Never Die in the Japanese version. Because there were 4 Gun Survivor games. There was Resident Evil Gun Survivor, Resident Evil Gun Survivor 2, and then there's Dino Stalker, and then there's Gun Survivor 4 Heroes Never Die. And they were all light gun games. Yeah.
That is like a hair away from being like Attack on Titan levels of like, why are we naming things?
What
like
are we
this?
fucking doing?
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird to me that
funny.
3 of the games in this Gun Survivor series are Resident Evil, and then one randomly in the middle is Dino Crisis. It's just called Dino Stalker. Like, okay, it's so weird.
Okay,
but like, I mean, look at Final Fantasy, right? In terms of like a series whose identity has been all over the place. Not even just like aesthetically, but mechanically and plot wise. Like you get a new set of characters to like or dislike each time you play those games. And oftentimes like the game that somebody comes in on those is like the one that they kind of stick with because it's then what they're used to, especially when you spend 40 hours with a system. You probably are a little more resistant to change on it. I think that's pretty dope that they're just like, we're just going to revamp it every time, you know?
Yeah.
But like, even the first game that I played in the series, which was 7, I don't even know if that's like my favorite. I think that 10 might actually be. It's not 6 either, Nestani.
Okay.
So,
I saw Nestani's face, and I knew that's what he was doing, and I went, don't do it.
I played 7, 8, 9.
Did 7 eat 9 or no?
No. Actually,
was 6 afraid of 7?
7 could have 8. Actually, 7 you could technically say it 8, 9 in this case because I got a lot of the way through Final Fantasy 9 and then had to give it back to my friend that I was borrowing it from. At which point I picked up 7 from somebody else.
Good
and
point.
then ended up beating that all the way through.
I've never played a mainline Final Fantasy game.
Me either. Wait, I played the one with lightning, but I didn't beat the game. I just made to the big
13.
open area and then I gave up. Yeah.
Yeah, I played 13. I liked 13. I also played 13 too.
I don't know if I liked 13. I
I
think I just liked lightning. I'll be honest.
I think that the funny thing about that game, right, is that like it has like a 30-hour tutorial essentially. But the thing is that combat system has so much going on that they have to like introduce it to you slowly. Otherwise, you just get like overwhelmed by all the stuff that's possible in it.
And then I gave up.
Now, I don't think it takes 30 hours to introduce that combat system to somebody. But I can kind of understand what they were going for.
You know what? That reminds me of a series. I don't know if it necessarily is a counter example, but it is an interesting thing to consider with regards to this conversation. Talking about like legacy of a thing.
Of Kane Soldier.
The Persona series. Because so like there are 5. If we're just talking Persona, for example, this can branch a bunch of different ways depending on how we want to talk about it. But
it's a tree
Persona
branch.
1, 2,
Lots of
and then
branches
3. Wouldn't you like to know? Anyway, so Persona 3 was kind of like the one that was like the big one that kind of like, redefined the series and also made it huge, right? And then Persona 4 was also a big deal. But like Persona 5 is like this massive fucking thing that feels like it's kind of in a way backfilled and like almost recontextualized and like redefined like the legacy or like what the identity of the series is almost retrospectively. Like they did a remake of Persona 3 called Persona 3 Reload, and it very much like softens a lot of the gameplay and like edges of certain things from those original Persona 3 releases, like in a similar vein to appeal to those Persona 5 fans. And they're doing a Persona 4 remake, and I wouldn't be shocked if they did the exact same thing, right? Now that's not even getting into the fact that the Persona series was originally a spin-off of the Shin Megami Tensei games.
Yep.
And so now that series, which has been going on since like the Super Nintendo era, like is now having its kind of like legacy and like what it is and represents kind of also influenced by like Persona 5 and the success of the Persona series. So it's very like, I don't know. I look at that as kind of, not like maybe like a counterexample, but kind of an interesting way where like a specific game in a series got so big that it kind of recontextualized everything that came before it and also kind of influenced the way that those are remembered or re-experienced in the way of like remakes. I don't know.
Yeah. Not to mention that like, so SMT, right, and Megami Tensei or Mega 10 or whatever it is you want to call it, that got so popular because in the West because of Nocturne that it ended up influencing the names of like what they would call different games in the series over in the West, because like Digital Devil Saga is called Shin Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga over in the West, but it's not called that over in Japan. It's called Digital Devil Saga Avatar Tuner.
Interesting.
Or something like that. So, but it's because of like brand recognition over in America and like due to the success of Shin Megami Tensei or just like Nocturne in general that they ended up rebranding some things to make them more like try and make them more successful. So this series that, you know, was a shoot off of Mega 10 and ended up influencing part of that series has now from its own spin-off sort of been like rebranded a little bit too.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like retroactive, like, I guess, what is it? I don't want to call it like backpedaling because that seems a little, that's like not what I want to call it. That's implying that they think that they're like, they did some, I mean, you could, but it implies a lot of things that I just don't want to, I don't think about it. So
backpedaling without,
but I guess it's just like, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, it's basically just like them going back and being like, oh, we have all of these new fans. Let's pull them on to these older games or these other games.
It's almost like sterilizing it a little bit.
Yeah, it's. I mean, because like in Persona 3 Reload, didn't they like change some of like how because there was like armbands that the students used to wear that represented like Nazi armbands or something like that.
No, they were wearing the red armbands. Yeah, in Reload.
Oh, okay. I thought that they like changed one of the symbols to
symbols.
Like,
I don't
make
know.
It soft because I thought that there was something like about those armbands that they wore that they like.
If that was
sanded
changed,
down the edges on.
There's like 30 bajillion Persona 3 releases. It would have been probably changed in one of those later releases of Persona 3.
Oh, I just meant Reload. Like like the original version compared to Reload.
Probably.
Yeah.
So we don't know.
There's multiple PS2 releases of Persona 3. Like there's Persona 3, Persona 3 Portable, Persona 3 FES. It's a fucking nightmare.
You know,
it's weird,
I was gonna ask what Cole was gonna say before you both could like just absolutely cut him off before he was gonna go.
Well, you know, I've cut off them before, so
yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, but this entire topic of like a game's legacy or comparing it to the sequel and stuff like that is literally like. I grew up with thinking about this entire premise because I grew up watching Egoraptor's sequelitis series. And the more specifically, the Mega Man episode and the Zelda episode.
Yep. I remember those
are the two big ones. But there was also the Castlevania ones, but those were a little bit shorter. And so these are YouTube videos, by the way. If that was not clear.
Yeah, I didn't know what you were talking about.
But like the entire point of that like show that he did, aside from just like, you know, at being comedic, was to compare a game in a series with another game, and usually it's sort of like one of those games where it's like cut off from the original. So with Zelda, it was like the original Zelda / Link to the Past, because those are very similar to one another.
2D
compared to Ocarina of Time, where it's 3D. And then the same kind of with Mega Man, where it's like the original Mega Man games, and then Mega Man X, which has its own like similarities and differences and things like that. And I would love if he made a Sonic video that is like that, because that'd be the craziest shit ever, but he's never going to do it. And this is probably the most...
So that means that you have to do it.
So this is the most interesting tweet I have ever read in my entire life. But recently he posted on Twitter, like there was like somebody like criticizing his like Zelda video, because obviously you're bashing Ocarina of Time. Not many people are really going to like that.
Might show up with a bomb at your house.
And so he like quote tweeted it, and he was like, "This is exactly why I don't think I'm ever going to make a sequelitis again." And on one hand, you could TLDR it, not as like, it was more than just he can't handle the hate. But the other thing was, he was saying that like he was really focusing on it being funny, because that was his reputation, and he felt like the video wouldn't do well if he was too serious. And like a lot of the stuff, even in that video, he over dramatized, even though he doesn't really care about some of the things he complained about, blah, 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 blah. But I'm getting off topic here. I think Zelda could have been one of those franchises where it's like, and maybe I guess it still kind of is, because it's not like all those games are gone now, but I feel like every mainline Zelda game after Ocarina of Time they're just sort of built on one another, and they kind of like just expound upon each other, and maybe just add like little tweaks here and there.
I would say for the 3D games. Yeah.
For the 3D games, right. And the interesting thing about this though is with like Breath of the Wild, that was like completely just like 360, and it's a lot more similar to the games that they used to have, like the original Zelda. I guess Link to the Past as well, but I feel like the original Zelda was like much more of an open world game than Link to the Past was. Like there were still numbers and stuff in Link to the Past and things like that. But I've always thought about this, and I've also, you know, growing up, I want to be the guy with the good opinions, and I want to win every argument or whatever. So I've had some pretty bad takes over the years about this particular subject.
You can't have good opinions, because good and bad opinions don't exist. Opinions are just opinions. And
except for mine. Mine are always good and correct and better than yours. That wasn't at Jaxler. That was at everyone. I was directing that.
Well, I mean, I'm also part of everyone, so I might as well just kill myself.
It just, when it came out of my mouth, it felt directed directly at you, and I was like, wait, I want everyone to know listening that I'm talking about them. Yes, you, dear listener.
Yeah. Look, I don't like this Jaxler guy, but all of y'all bums also need to know.
Subscribe to the video right now. You know, you should hit that button, because you're listening this far into the podcast. You obviously like what you're hearing, so hit the button.
That's right.
Please.
You like what you hear.
Please.
Want to break from the ads?
Want to break from the ads?
But yeah, so I guess the answer to my question is no.
They're all that.
It's like one of those like
YouTube
video thumbnails where it's like,
it doesn't define it. Yeah.
It's just like the answer to the question is in the thumbnail, and it just says no, and then below in parentheses, I promise this is an interesting question.
Yeah, pretty much. That is kind of.
You know, every time, personally, when I ever see those emails, every time I see one of those videos,
dude, we cannot fucking English today. That's rough. We're all fucking.
I'm chilling for now. I haven't made a mistake.
Dude, you're saying 6'7". All you've said is 6'7".
I was saying that succinctly, though. Okay, and you understood what I was saying. I didn't mess up.
Succinctly, that's a good word.
Yeah, they call me Delaware Cosmic up in this.
In my defense, I woke up in the middle of the night to try and see a lunar eclipse that happened, and then I looked up and I was like, "There's the moon," and then clouds came, and I was like, "I'm going back to fucking bed."
That's rough, buddy.
Yeah, so. But I guess in August I could see the lunar eclipse again. So
wow, another one, guys. I have a story. Okay, here's.
Talk to me.
I don't want to phrase this. I really want to just like start this with like the most insane fire ever. I won't do it. Okay, anyway. I think that people should say the word bad more often. I think you should say to people that shit fucking sucked. That was ass. That was rancid ass, bad, get better. Okay? Because here's the thing. All right. I get a lot of flack for this thing, and I'm going to use a specific example just because it's recent, but I've dealt with this all like forever and ever. It's whenever someone says I am doing something good, and then I don't believe them, and they get mad at me. Now, you could argue that this is a me problem, but I'm going to argue it's a you problem. Okay, so here we go. So
well then,
I take vocal lessons, right? And so my teacher, she's been teaching me, right? And she is like, "All right, good job, cool, yeah, that sounded good. That sounded good." She has never once in my life told me it sounded bad, right? Not one time, even though I know it's fucking bad. Like, let's be very clear. And so now I'm very annoyed with like just very specific things right now, and I'm just mad. And she's like, "Well, I think it sounds good." And I'm like, I can't believe you because you've never said what was bad to me. I've never been in this lesson. You've been like, "That shit was bad. Let's do it different." Never, not one time. You know what I mean? Now she'll say, "What if you try to like this or blah, 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 blah." And she's like, but she doesn't say it. Like, she doesn't be like, "Oh, that." And so because she doesn't do that, I'm like, when you say it, I can't believe you. I just can't, because you've never told me when I've sounded bad. So if you never tell me when I am bad or when I sound bad, how can I believe you when you say I am good? And this goes to everything. And
just as a quick aside.
Hold on. I think this is like, and then you can go. I think this is like the whole like thing of why I don't accept compliments, because no one ever says anything bad. You know what I mean? No one ever just fucking like rips into me, besides like very certain people. Like Cole, if he says that something I did is good, I know that it's good because Cole has told me when that shit was ass. You know what I mean? And because I have the context of Cole saying that I suck fucking dick, I know when I'm not sucking dick. You know what I mean? It's crazy, this like novel concept, because now I know the difference. 6'7". I know the difference between these two things.
Nestani, that joke is bad, and you need to get a new one right now in the big 26. Come on.
Yeah. Hey, it's almost 27. Okay.
It's the third month.
We're going toward 27 anyway. So.
Oh my god.
What do you all think? Okay, because this is kind of my like whole like problem here, is because in my worldview, if you never say that I've done something incorrect or bad or wrong or whatever, and you only ever compliment me, how am I to believe you in good faith? Right? Because my objective is to always get better, always improve at whatever I'm doing, right? Because if you're complimenting something I'm doing something that I'm trying to improve at in most cases, right? And I understand that the argument here is, we should just be nice. I don't care. I'm not here for her to be nice. I'm here to get better. Or like, I don't need you to be nice for me to get better. You know what I mean? And this is like my whole like thing. And it annoys me that it annoys other people when they say, "I know you don't believe me, but," and I'm like, you know why I don't believe you? Because you've never said anything else. You've never said the opposite. Even though I know that there are cases where the opposite has happened. You know what I mean? Because again, in this sense, like, I've been there for 3 years. I fucking sucked ass in the first like 2, 3. I'm probably still bad. You know what I mean? But I don't know if I am. Because I've never had that distinction, you know?
Yeah.
And
sure. No, I can understand
anyway,
that.
I think
that's my preach.
I think the thing I want to interject with, at least specifically with the vocal teacher, for example, is like, if you're like teaching someone like an instrument or like anything music related, like if you're in that position of that's your job, for 90% of people, if you said, "Oh, that sucked," or "That wasn't good," or this like
counterpoint, I've been here for 3 years and I've clearly shown that I am not going anywhere. And she clearly has seen my mentality and that I'm like, not like that at all. I'm not a bitch.
I agree.
I understand that there's a lot of people that are bitch made. You can be bitch made for the first year or two, but by year 3, you know who I am. Like, that's all I'm saying.
It's a muscle more than anything, right? It's just like when you work with students like that are bitch made all the time, it's like force a habit, you know?
Yeah.
Hearing Jack say bitch
and a lot of people who
honestly.
Yeah. And a lot of people who like, you know, like are like, "Oh, I want to do guitar lesson." You know, like I was bitch made piano lessons, you know, I never fucking practiced. You know, but like
I just think you should evolve over time and not just like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you should adjust the teaching style to whoever you're teaching, right?
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
If I'm saying to you, call me bad when I'm bad, and you don't do it, like, I've said that to her too, by the way. I've been like, tell me when this shit's ass. Like, I don't know.
Like a teacher-student relationship, for example, like that is still like a relation, you know, that's like two people communicating and working together towards a common goal. That has to evolve. Like,
yeah.
In the same way that if you're working with coworkers, your communication has to evolve over time. You know,
but that's the thing is
that I
people
110%
are just
agree
scared
with.
to say that something is bad because they don't want to like to offend you or like hurt your feelings or whatever. But I think in a lot of instances, yeah, you might hurt their feelings, but maybe they need to hear that shit. You know what I mean? And that's my argument. You know?
Yeah,
I think people. This is gonna sound. You're gonna disagree with me. I already know this.
Oh, I know. I'm good at disagreeing.
Because listen, I don't know how to word this properly, but I have a sneaky little suspicion. So here's the thing: is when you tell somebody, "Tell me I'm bad," that if you tell one person that and then tell another person that, they're gonna take it 2 different ways. One person may take what you say verbatim and be like, "All right, you fucking suck," but then the other person is like, "All right." This is how I kind of say that they're bad. Like, they don't use the word bad. They don't like say any kind of like I guess not insults, not the right word, but you know, no negative verbiage. But instead of being agreeable in the sense of being like, yeah, that's good, they would just be like, let's try this new way, or we need to do something different and do this, you know? So it's like, they're not saying that it's bad, but it's like, they're not saying that it's good either. You know what I mean? Because that's just how people
usually
are.
Outright bad, right?
True, but
I think honestly, sorry, I'll let you go.
The main focus though is just that I think it depends on the person, and even a teacher should be like everything and go beyond the stars and stuff like that. But you know, they're also human beings. You know, like they're not going to be perfect, and it's hard to adapt between multiple students, especially if like you know. You'll have to shift gears immediately to like another person. That could be kind of tough and stuff like that. And
yeah, but the thing is, it's
whatever,
not ISO to this incident, though, is what I'm saying. It's like every time anyone ever says anything, you know.
No, and
I'm like,
that's true. I think because I feel the same way, especially with just like YouTube and well, more so with theater back when I was younger. Is like the only person I would ever trust is my director because they've told me that they're bad. But the other thing is also that like they know what they're talking about. Like I love my mom and she'll be like, "You were so great on stage, sweetie." And I'm like, "You've never been on stage. I'm not trusting a single word you're saying." Like I do not care. Like
yes.
Like which is weird because it's like I want to do this stuff for like my family or whatever. Like or at least with like theater. It was like I want to do this for my family. I want to show them what I can do. But on the other hand, it's like your words mean nothing to me because like you're not in the space.
Yeah,
like,
fuck you.
Right.
Like,
goddamn
no,
right.
like just straight up.
Yeah.
Like just straight up. But
yes.
but I don't know. Also people also
mommy
tend
mentality.
to mommy mentality. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the mama
I forgot about that on stream.
I think some of it too is like if someone says you did a good job, it's not like they're trying to give you feedback on whatever the thing is. It's this, they want to recognize your effort. And it's like the only way they know how to say that is good job. If anything, the only thing I really disagree with, Nestani, is that I don't like necessarily think we should just say that, oh, this, you know, completely sucked. I think we can add that more into the equation, but it's like, this could be improved. or you should work on this, right?
It's a yin and yang.
Because when in my mind, when I hear something to the effect of we need to say things suck more, it's like, well, yes, but also maybe there's other ways we can. Because I think people are afraid to say things
being direct
suck.
about it. Like, sure, you can fucking dance with your Prince Prancy words, but just be direct about it. Like, my thing is when you're indirect about it and you're taking this giant circle path and wasting like 5 minutes of my time when you could just say, true. You sucked at this thing, let's improve it, or like this is the problem, rather than like, well, I think this about and then you were like, and then you were really good at and then this, like, I don't cut it out. Like, I don't have time for that.
I get that. No, I get that, and I think some people really. I know I'm
different from most people, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Is I think there's a lot of people in this fucking world who are bitch made, who need that kind of shit.
It's like. Yeah, I understand.
Because people want to see that their effort is recognized.
My thing too is that with this kind of thing, like with singing specifically, you don't know how you sound because how you sound in your head is nothing like the fuck you sound like outwards. Not. So if you I need the feedback. I actually need it of, is this actually good or was this actually bad? And if you don't give me both of those options, I can't know for sure. And that builds frustration, obviously, because now whenever she says that, I'm like, this is a useless barometer for me. Like this, like, because normally I'm adjusting a billion things and like, this thing of like, my teacher says this was good and this was bad. Like when they don't do that, like when that barometer is not there, now it's like, okay, now I have to record myself afterwards. Now I have to boom, 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 boom. Was this good? But then it's like, oh, but now I'm singing alone and not in the classroom. So now it's going to sound slightly different. Like, what is this the same? So now I'm like, okay, now I have to record my lessons. And then now I have to go back. And then it's like, it's just creating so much more work for me to find out the answer.
Yeah.
And it's just like, but maybe I'm an asshole.
No. I don't know.
Well, maybe for different reasons, but like,
I totally get the being direct thing though. I think that was one of the most that's just one of the most frustrating things about trying to do creative things with people, in my opinion, is sort of that thing. Or just like, I don't know, it's like, hey, do you want to go to Popeyes and get a chicken sandwich? It's like, no, just tell me you have a fucking crush on me. Like, you don't have to do this because I didn't know.
I think that was pretty direct, man.
Know.
I don't know. I think that was.
She was remarking often. It's like, we should go get Popeye sometime. It's like, what the fuck? What does that mean? Just come out and say it. Like, why do we have to dance this dance? You know what I mean?
Cole, I'm going to need you to stop. I feel like you are making my point weaker by.
I think the other.
What are you talking about?
Nestani, I had another thought too, because you said something that stood out to me, which is that I really want to improve. I think a lot of people, like, they say they really want to improve, but they don't.
Yeah, I know.
Really.
They talk the talk, but can't walk the
right?
walk.
So it's like, but it's also like they want to put in effort towards something and have that effort be recognized in some sort of fashion by what they've done. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I know. You're right. I know.
They want to sound like they've improved.
55 musicians that have that same thing where you're like, oh, I want to get better. And then they do fucking nothing to like improve. Like, I know them. I can name them. I won't. But I
probably
can
won't know who they are.
Well, no. Yeah, I guess no one would, unless someone's randomly. Anyway, but. Yeah.
I think the people that also learn the best are the people who fail, because failure is the greatest teacher.
And if I don't know when I'm failing,
if you don't know,
how do I get better?
Exactly. That's exactly it. That's what. Yeah.
Because my thing is, I think the whole thing kind of stems from I don't want to hurt your feelings, right? And I'm like, in order to improve at something, your feelings need to be hurt. At some point, you're going to get your feelings hurt. If you want to get good at anything ever in your fucking life, you're going to get your feelings hurt. So why are we so adamant about not hurting people's feelings if they want to improve? Because here's the thing. If you hurt their feelings and they're still mad about it a day later or 2 days later, they didn't want that shit. Then you know to not do that. You know what I mean? Like, just make the mistake.
We're afraid of negative emotions, man. And this is what we were talking about with anger.
And then 2 days later, if they're still mad about it, you apologize. And you're like, that's my bad. you know, and you don't say that they're bitch made, but you clock that in your head and then you adjust afterwards, you know.
It's like what we were talking about earlier with emotions. It's like people don't want to get their feelings hurt because they don't want to have negative emotions, because they don't know how to use or process or regulate those negative emotions. So it's easier to avoid something than it is to fix something.
Well, also everyone just wants to be good at the thing, like without failing, basically. Which again, like you can't really get actually good at something without failing. You know what I mean? Like you can maybe get lucky and stumble in something and just be good at first, but eventually you're going to fail. Right?
There's a ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's just like a thing that has been on my mind because I'm like, I don't know how to like say this and like not sound like an absolute jackass. You know what I mean? You know?
Yeah.
Because I've said it in the past, but I haven't said it as direct as I want to say it.
Yeah.
Because I understand this is real life. And that's like, it's not 1 + 1 = 2. As much as I want it to be 1 + 1 = 2, it's not.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like, I don't know, man. It's just frustrating when it's just like, I don't know.
Well, so what you have to understand is that, number one, a lot of advice on dealing with interpersonal relationships in the information age, not only does it pertain to having the audience as potentially anybody, but it is also mostly based around navigating toxic people. Now, unfortunately, you cannot apply this.
Okay, go ahead.
No. I would have just
with
called
that first
you.
sentence sounded like my college professors, and it kind of gave me PTSD. I was like, because I was a communications major.
If you'll turn to Act 2 of Metal Gear Solid 2.
Oh God, here we go.
If my professor said that, I'd be like, what?
I would be locked in.
Excuse?
Yo.
Yeah.
But anyway,
So,
sorry.
there's that, right? So, I mean, especially when it comes to like romantic relationships, a lot of advice is based around this. But like, this is also why when, for example, the Groove's on a Record, we make a post, and we say, you know,
it was me. Let's fucking go. See, Cole thought it was only me that references it, bitch ass.
Okay. But so like, for example, when you make a post, the average person now, when they make a post, and they're generally conscious of people that have disabilities or difficulties with certain things.
Okay, how are we doing with this?
You know, not to discount XYZ, but like, for example, Brian Nato says, well, why haven't you put, if you speed run a game, why haven't you put inputs on your display? Right. And somebody says, well, I run on console. They're obviously not talking to
nigga. We're not talking
like, yeah. So, or like if somebody were to be on like a fighting game, if somebody was like, well, why'd you switch from why'd you switch from stick to hitbox? And then that person says, well, I have problems with my wrist. Okay. That's a pretty like easy, like one-way ticket to, okay, cool. This is probably a good response, right? Or like if somebody just says, oh, well, you know, like if they don't phrase it in a way that's like
that shuts down the conversation.
Right? Or, yeah, right. But like, so when somebody says, why haven't you put inputs on your display? That is a inherently more like active question, right? As opposed to, why did you switch from this to the other? That implies like a choice, right? Whereas the phrasing of the question, and I agree with Bryo, like if you have the means to, if you care about like people being able to watch your video and
figure out
learn from it, you know, exactly.
Yeah.
But what they did not need was people coming into the comments being like, well, I only run on PS2. Like, you're not in the conversation, dude. Like, so the thing is, right, is that this lack of like reading comprehension or like lack of audience understanding, right, is something that permeates a lot of the way that we handle conversation in the real world now, because tone and inflection and volume are not present really outside of caps lock, I guess, in text. So people use hyperbole to indicate what they would otherwise indicate through text or like through tone or volume or inflection or stress on different words.
Yeah.
And now that hyperbole has trickled into a lot of our everyday language, so it is harder to navigate along with the sea of advice around dealing with toxic people, because it is important that people understand too how to deal with toxic people in their life. That is where a lot of this stems from, right? Is that when a lot of the information age was taking off, especially stuff like Twitter, and it was essentially like a news feed of just, random tidbits about life, being like, don't ever go to a restaurant with somebody that treats wait staff poorly, right? That's advice on how to deal with toxic people, right? Now, this doesn't account for, obviously, a scenario where the staff is rude and then that person is rude back, right? It doesn't account for these things. It doesn't account for, like the waitress or the waiter having a bad day. And so when, the person that you're with orders something, that person goes, okay, like the waiter or waitress goes, okay, and then like writes it down or whatever, right? But that advice that's on the feed is talking about a toxic person. So now when it comes to teaching people, a lot of it is based around not coming off as toxic, because there is so much like nuance and good faith that has been shattered by this constant barrage of like, generally well-meaning advice or generally well-meaning like understanding of the web of how everybody interlocks, right? And there's a lot of good, obviously, that comes out. I'm doing this now. I'm qualifying my statement, right? Because ostensibly my entire, like my audience is anybody. It is maybe like, how many times has Gabby said, this post is no longer in the intended audience. This has breached containment.
Yeah.
So now she has a bunch of people. Now there's a bunch of people in her replies that are telling them, oh, well, what about this? And she's like, no, shut up. This was not for you. And it's just like, so to your point, Nestani, your teacher has to, and other people that know you have to understand that maybe they cannot talk that way to other people, but with you, they can, right? Yeah. And this is about not approaching, if anything, this is like a very good thing to understand, is that certain audiences are all relative to each other, right? Like, you're going to have a friend group where, I don't know, I can't even think of like a proper example right now. You can't joke about, you can't call a Legend of Zelda game bad with them, right? Because
or you can't make 9/11 jokes. Maybe that's a better
or you can't make 9/11 jokes.
Yeah, that's
or something like that.
Damn.
Sure. Dang.
You're telling me 9/11's off the table? I'm out of here. Sorry.
Yeah. George Bush, circa 2000. You're telling me 9/11's off the table? Oh, but anyway.
Oh my God.
So, or like there's certain groups of like friends that maybe you will not be able to talk about them with video games or movies the same way, right? Like I know that if I like just watched a great movie or something, who's the person I'm probably not going to talk to about it? Is that guy on the layout right above me?
You bring up You've made me think of a very interesting point that I don't know if you guys deal with or not, but like is a very common thing.
So to continue the example, go ahead, Cole. What's up?
Oh, okay. Like it is such a common thing now when you're scrolling through TikTok or Instagram Reels or anything like that.
He scrolls through none of these things, but go ahead.
You send the things that you find funny to somebody.
He's talking about me and the group masturbation.
And eventually, no. But it just some Funko Pop guy lore here.
Oh boy.
So.
Oh yeah.
Everybody in the friend group that we are in loves sending him memes and stuff on like Instagram, and then when we get in a Discord call, everybody's like, react to it, like, come on, like they literally want him to be a reaction channel.
Ew, no.
And so,
gross.
Not right anymore.
And so the thing is though, is that I know what things to send to certain people. My friends, like I know to the Funko Pop guy what jokes he likes, what things he would even be interested in. And so that is what I send him. And he likes the stuff that I send him and he actually looks at it. But then everybody else does this thing where it's just like they think it's funny. So they send it to like anybody that they know because they just want to be like, that's funny, right? You know, like that kind of thing. What you just said reminded me of that because I know that this isn't like, at least just a my friend group thing, because I've seen memes where it's like the one friend that sends you like every meme on his For You page or whatever and stuff like that. So I didn't mean to.
No, you're good.
Sidetrack you there, but that just made me think about that.
It does give me a point of like a jumping off point where like years ago there was this woman that was posting about, you know, how she was so grateful to be married to her husband because every morning they can wake up and have coffee in their garden. And, you know, she had commented about like how beautiful the flowers were there. And immediately people are in their replies like, how dare you express your privilege to people that don't have gardens or are alone?
All of them should
and
jump.
It's just like,
damn.
It's like,
do some jumping jacks.
It's a wonderful life. Jump off a bridge.
Yeah. Like,
Jesus Christ! What a fucking Zack Snyder cut that would be if in that one little scene he actually does it.
And saying like, and the thing is, right, with how like language is a little bit sterilized or like infantilized a lot now, saying about this, don't yuck somebody's yum, is not serious enough, right? It is quite literally, do not stomp on someone's joy or like do not stomp on someone's happiness because you have seen a lack of yourself in the statement. Do not like try to get them to amend the statement to include you when you are not the intended audience, right?
Yeah, like you ain't included. Big
like it's one of those things where like, you know, I'm a big fan of like horror games, but I know I'm a little bitch when it comes to watching horror movies, right? But I'm not going to say like, am I going to go and like watch those movies and be like, wow, this is actually terrifying. I don't know why they would do this to somebody. Like, no, I'm not included, dude. Like, you know, like, bruh, I am not the intended audience, you know? Yeah. I'm really into like thrillers, and that's like the part of that spectrum that I like watching. But largely I like watching dramas or action movies, that sort of thing, or like like murder mysteries and all that, you know. Yippee. But like the Saw movies or even like Long Legs, I was kind of like, this is dragging a little bit.
Probably because the legs are too long. They're just dragging on the ground.
True, yeah. But there's a lot of horror movies that come out where I'm just kind of like, no, I'm gonna pass. Nope. You know. But again, I'm not the intended audience. Or it's like when I go to check out like a recommended stream and that person is extremely loud and energetic and all these things that I'm just like, I am not the intended person for this.
Yeah.
Right. You know, that person could be sweet as pie, but like I can only take so many times that they've been like, chat, check this out, chat. You know,
yeah.
Chat, should I wipe my butt 3 times or 4? You know, like
I think it's just easier. Like, I guess just in the context of like Nestani's teacher, it might be easier for just to cast the wide net and be like, let me just not say that and talk the exact same way to every student, because then I don't have to like make that switch.
But then I would just say that person is a bad teacher. Like that just is what it is. Like
that's the thing. After 3 years,
you're not like. I'm not trying to defend them. I'm just
So for example,
I've been thinking about leaving.
So for example, right? Like when people like recommend somebody else like a speed game, right? They'll say, "Oh, well, I really like this speed game," or "Oh, I think this is a good speed game, so I think you'd like it too." But when I actually go to recommend somebody a speed game, I'm like going to their profile, seeing what type of games they run, and then I also say to them, what have you enjoyed a lot recently, or what games historically do you enjoy? Can you point me to anything specific that you like doing in games a lot or enough that it
personalized
could be
recommendations are just so dead, bro, and people just like don't.
Yeah. It just is what it is. But like, what was it? I remember years ago, there was a guy that was in the DMC space. His name was Anemone. I don't really know what he's up to these days. But I was like, hey, because he was like
to a rock or something.
Like he listens to a lot of like rock and metal, and he'd like always had music playing, and he was like always playing JRPGs. And he just seemed like a little like, edgy boy or whatever. Not like in the bad way edgy. But in like the I like Vincent Valentine
not
type,
in the slur way, but in the
not in the slur way. But there was one point where I was just like, I feel like you would really like playing the DMC reboot. I think you should play that game and maybe consider running it, especially because you run all these long games. Maybe a short game would do you well. And then he ended up becoming like the number 2 runner in the world for that game.
Yeah.
And there was a point where he said to me, he was like, dude, I really just want to tell you, like, thank you for telling me to run this game, because it's a lot of fun. And I was like, look, man, that's all I'm looking for, is like just for people to say like, yeah, this was good or this was not good, to wrap back around,
Isn't that useful? Wow.
It's great.
Yeah.
But
that reminds me of the time I just like completely won life when I recommended Cole, King Gizzard, and the Wizard Lizard.
That is true. That is true.
But
and then I think Spotify.
I do think that it comes from the place of like generally people want to protect other people and not be like seen as toxic, because a lot of the nuance around like good faith versus bad faith is like blurred because of how much there is not a lot of there's not a lot of discourse around how to deal with well-meaning people. Let's put it that way. There's, even though people say accept compliments, that person really thinks you're cool. There is not a lot of nuance around and a lot of discourse around why or when or how, or the types, like the ways to identify somebody being good to you.
Yeah.
It is around the opposite.
I think
that comes back to negative engagement, but yeah.
I'm curious to hear your take on this too. Like one of the other things that I've just been kind of simmering in my head a little bit, this conversation, is like sometimes it feels like people want to appear good or appear to be good people rather than actually be good people in action or
like
how they choose to carry themselves.
It's like 90% of people.
Oh, you mean like performative people? Yeah.
Performative, but also just like, it's
passively,
more important to passively look like a decent person than actually actively be a decent person. And maybe part of that too is also with the way I was raised. I mean, part of it is the way I was taught is that, like, weirdly enough, if you do good works or stuff that you're proud of, or you like donate to charity, for example, you don't tell people about it.
Yeah.
Because like telling people about it is like showing off or like being arrogant or egotistical about it. And there's limits to how far you probably should take some sort of statement like that. But I look at it sometimes when watching how people interact online, and I'm just like, low key, like obviously it would be a net negative for something like GDQ, but I think in a perfect world, like every GDQ donation would be an anonymous donation, so that people wouldn't get like the jack off satisfaction of donating and having it told to the world that they donated to charity.
I mean, I think that is an entirely different issue.
That might be a whole other conversation.
Yeah, because there was that study done a while ago where it comes to the couch of GDQ and the attachment of donations being an actual like audience type of thing. It's not that people want clout when it comes to these things. it is that they want to have the same experience as sitting in the crowd.
They want to be part of it.
Yeah, they want to be part of the event.
Interesting. Okay.
You know, so I'd actually have to send you the study, but it is based around the concept of the couch on a GDQ as well.
I'd be down to look at that and maybe talk about that on another, like maybe.
It's literally just like an entire. It's literally just an entire study, like specifically about games done quick.
Interesting.
Yeah, guys, I'm just saying, I think you should tell your homies that they suck sometimes, so then when you compliment them, they can actually believe you. And obviously don't do this to random people, but when you have rapport with someone, I think it's useful to tell them that they're bad.
The other thing too, right? The other thing too is that
it's not.
A lot of people that I have known over the years, right? Look, bro, okay. You put the pan in front of me. Okay.
I said we're cooking. You're cooking.
And I brought it to a boil.
Just go!
Every second, the heat's turning up. Go.
Finish him.
The other thing, too, is that a lot of people wear this badge of being real as like a license to just be negative all the time. It's like when somebody's like, I'm not being pessimistic, I'm being a realist. And it's like, motherfucker, you have thrown the water out of the... You threw the water out of the glass so that you could say it was half empty.
I've met some bitchy diva hoes that do that kind of shit. I fucking...
Yeah. Like...
Fuck those fucking bitchy diva
hoes.
Extremely good point.
It is just not a license to be that way. Like who you actually like wielding that because it is like power in a sense over somebody. Like you gotta be a very good friend to never have that like be a bad thing, right? You know, like for example,
the groove's on the record.
Here we go.
I was paused for you. Yeah, you're good. So like there was this guy that taught me Chaos Legion, and he was very direct about like the way that he helped me improve because he like watched it. Like somebody told him about me, like actually starting to play the game and run it. And he said, hey, how long have you played this game? Because I don't think you have a lot of time in this game and there's a lot you can do to make this faster. And he was just like very to the point about like what I should be doing. And
it's my wet dream right there.
And so I was like, okay, what can I do?
Just came.
Yeah, it's true. And so like I went over like my buy route with him and he was like, I don't think that's good. Here's a strat for this. I'm going to record this. This motherfucker lived in Australia and was recording on a DVD recorder and sending me videos on his YouTube. Yeah, like it was sick. And he was just like, he was like, this is good. This is fast. You should do this. I think this idea that you have here is good. This, don't do that, you know, or whatever. And it was kind of the same as well, like when Avukamo and I were running RE5, because we knew we wanted to like get record, right? Because we looked at the record and we were like, we can beat this, you know? And like every time we'd have a session, it was like, okay, I think I didn't do this very well. I think you didn't do this very well. I think we reset here because of this, but also this was good. I really like the change that we made here. And that it was like that for just months. So I've had some stroke of luck in that case, but you are really putting a lot of trust in somebody to be able to do that and like have that dynamic. So I get some people maybe don't want to go out on a limb and let somebody else in that because you are being pretty vulnerable in that moment as well, right? You are trusting that person.
And also like you're going to make mistakes while doing that too. Like if you do it for long enough. Like I remember literally like last year, Cole asked me for help on like a thumbnail and I ignored the thumbnail part and talked about his video and he was like, shut the fuck up, nigga. I didn't ask you about that.
I forgot about that.
N-word too, by the way. He said that whole thing.
That is not, I did not do that.
But like, that was like,
clip and ship it.
Like, because we have the rapport of like, I will just tell him everything on my mind. And he was like, I didn't actually want everything on your mind this time. And I was like, oh, that's actually my bad. And I had to like apologize for it. And it's just like, and it was fine. We're still friends. Yeah. Wow, we just, I made a mistake and that's okay. Like sometimes you make mistakes.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be worried about it. And
to quote Malice, it's just a quote Malice. There's an L in LA lesson. Let your mess become your message. That's the end of the podcast.
Does anyone have anything to say?
Midwest Speedfest schedule is out now. Midwest Speedfest schedule is out now. It's on Blue Sky. That's all I have.
Is going on this week. Check that out.
Yes, watch Vitalis, please.
That too, yes.
And then tomorrow I'll probably be doing Wii Bowling blindfolded.
Oh!
We'll see how that goes. Trying to get a perfect score. Yep. So
I guess
go
you
watch
call that
stream. Coley's stream.
Well, you should watch. I liked him. I
like him too. He's great.
I like him.
Yeah, Bubsy's crazy.
Goodbye. W.
All right, bye.